my goal in life is for us to decenter people like Joe Budden, and to get rid of DJ academics. But like, I feel like I would rather have a conversation with Joe Budden because Joe Budden is not stupid.
Hey, I'm at the top of my game. I'm who they hate. This shit come with the fame. That's how I knew that I made it. I woke up looking this good. I'm in my prime. These niggas gotta get played. If these bitches ain't mad, I need to go harder. I can't let them think we the same.
We are back with season 2 of Misogynoir in the World, and I am really excited about today's conversation. Again, if you also know who I am your favorite doctor, Dr. K. My pronouns are they, them, Beyonce, but me and Beyonce on the outs right now, but it's fine. We're working through our problems. I am an online gender-based violence researcher. I look particularly at digital misogynoir. And for those that don't know what misogynoir is the anti-Black racism and sexism and how that impacts Black women because of their intersecting identities. And today, our special guest is Kenyatta Victoria. Their pronouns are she, her, and they are an internet culture reporter and essayist. And I am going to jump in with an icebreaker question.
All right, let's do it.
So, the question is, would you rather be on the Joe Budden podcast or a Twitch live stream with DJ academics?
Okay.
And why?
I think for me, I would rather be on Joe Budden's podcast than DJ Academics. I just feel like DJ Academics is just like he's just too unpredictable, and I just don't know what the outcome would be if me and him got into it. I feel like on the Joe Budden podcast, I feel like I could really go toe to toe with like them and all the other guys on there. Like, I feel like we would have like, I mean, if y'all want to scream, we could scream. Like, that wouldn't intimidate me. I feel like with DJ Academics, that's just a little too unpredictable. And like, that's way too much on like my mental health and like trying to keep peace.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like, my goal in life is for us to decenter people like Joe Budden, and to get rid of DJ academics. But like, I feel like I would rather have a conversation with Joe Budden because Joe Budden is not stupid.
Right.
And DJ academics is lacking something is not clicking.
Yeah, not clicking.
And that's what you say is like, it's unpredictable. Like with Joe Budden, you already know he hates Megan Thee Stallion, which means I hate him, which means that if he brings her up, I'm ready to go toe to toe. But DJ academics, like, I don't know. It's just something about him that's just something is off. My spirit.
Yeah, like real off-putting. Like it's not, we're not gonna mesh. I feel like with Joe Budden, like, it's like, okay, like I get it, like you're very upfront about your misogyny, about your misogynoir, like you and the people around you, like y'all are gonna try to play devil's advocate on certain things, and like I'm fine with that. Like we could have a debate, we can go toe to toe with it, but I feel like academics, like that's just, it's too many moving parts. Like I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our questions. So I have Kenyatta here today to talk about misogynoir in the media. So the first question is, how does misogynoir show up in the media? And you can speak to the work you do and how it shows up in that.
For sure. So I think for me in particular, like just being like more entertainment, pop culture based, misogynoir is very prevalent just because of entertainment. You know, you want to cover all the rappers, you want to cover all the singers, you want to cover all the actors, like any entertainer. And it's like when allegations or abuse stories come out, that's when things begin to get really messy, because like, from a front facing publication standpoint or like a business standpoint, like you want to garner relationships and you want to, maintain relationships with these people. But it's also like, as a writer and a journalist, like we should be able to challenge and kind of ask the tough questions and challenge these people of like, you have these allegations, you have these abuse stories, you have a long list of bad things that you've done. Like, why not challenge that? So I think it's very prevalent, especially when it comes to like hip hop media. I know like we've been seeing a lot of conversations about like the state of hip hop journalism and stuff like that, and artists not wanting to talk to media anymore. And it's just like, because they're not open to being challenged. And then a lot of publications sometimes are like, oh, well, let's keep it like pretty fluffy so we don't miss out on this relationship. So we don't like, if we have something experiential coming up, we can still like, rub elbows with them. But it's like, that shouldn't be the basis of the work that we do in the media.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think about it till you said something about the lack of artists wanting to talk to the media.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did not even think about that. And now it's interesting because I feel like with social media, it's easy for artists to basically interview themselves,
Right.
right? Or talk about the things that the media would usually interview them for.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then also, a lot of these artists go on like these YouTube shows and they will do interviews with them, but they're not doing a lot of interviews with like traditional
Right.
journalists, which is
Mm-hmm.
just really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So the next question is, why should the media be responsible for the way Black women in films are treated and portrayed?
I love that question just because I think, especially now with like stan culture, we have like trolls at an all-time high. There is a responsibility to kind of be more intentional with the language that you're using, especially when it comes to Black women in films, because people will jump on things really quickly, like even down to a picture, like depending on like a photo you put in the headline and in the thumbnail, like that is automatically open range for people to target them, or people to talk about them, or people to just like dogpile and ridicule them for no reason, just because of like a certain photo they use. I think there's a sense of intentionality that needs to be put into the newsroom, even down to headlines, like certain things you're like, oh, this is going to get you clicks, but it's just like, why is it going to get you clicks? Like, it's going to get you clicks for the wrong reasons, and open up a dialogue for people to kind of target and attack Black women in femmes. Like, it's way more important to be more intentional with storytelling and more intentional with like how you're presenting stories. And just like within my time of just being a journalist, like I'm seeing more like why women and femmes are like way more hands on with like how they're placed in the world and like how they're perceived, and like even down to just like the physical aspect, like they don't want, they don't want room to be targeted or ridiculed just for like a picture or a certain headline, or like why they pull this quote or something like that.
Exactly, exactly. And then the last question is, how does internalized misogynoir, and for those that don't know what that means, that is basically very similar to having like internalized anti-Blackness. So you may identify as a Black woman or femme, but you have beliefs that put you in a position to perpetuate the same harms
Mm.
as, let's say, a man would towards other Black women.
Right.
So, how does internalized misogynoir impact how Black women engage with the media? And you kind of touched on this on the last question, but I would really love for you to expand. And if you have some examples to share, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's literally so many examples. I definitely think like we all know, like I think the Megan the Stallion issue and her abuse story, that really like kind of woke everybody up and like kind of like literally removed like the curtain behind the scenes of just like how deep misogynoir runs specifically in hip hop, and especially because like on social media everybody has an opinion, everybody wants to tell their opinion and stuff like that. And so I think that's like the main example, but also like internalized misogynoir really shows up like when, if somebody's pregnant, like when Flo Milli announced her pregnancy, and everybody's first instinct was, oh my god, like, oh, I'm tired of these girls like getting pregnant by these men, and I'm tired of them, like they're stopping their careers and all just a whole bunch of stuff. And it's just like, why is that the first thing that you think of, is to just like dogpile and ridicule her, or make it seem like, oh, her getting pregnant is a problem? Or even with like Halle Bailey, like everybody is like, oh my god, like she shouldn't have been with DDG, and just like kind of like going at her and making it seem like, oh, like everything is her fault. And it's just like, we don't understand as humans, like especially when it comes to like women and pregnancy, like that's a very like energy based time. And like seeing and reading all these things about you, like you getting on Twitter and reading like people are calling you stupid and dumb for getting pregnant, like that, and that coming from like other women and femmes, like that is internalized misogynoir, because it's like you're not looking at it from like a stepping into their shoes type of thing. You're just looking at it like, I'm pointing my finger at you because you're so stupid and da 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 da. But it's just like, it's more to that. And I think there's a lot of lack of empathy when discussing like these public figures, because it's like once they become a public figure, it's like you're just a character in this universe. Like you're not an actual person with like feelings and stuff like that.
And how do you think because of that they engage with media? So like how they, I guess, participate in the conversation. So I'm thinking about like how earlier in Cardi B's career, she would go back and forth with people online all the time. So how do you think like the internalized misogynoir impacts and influences how Black women engage with the media?
I think, and it's a really unfortunate cycle, like as just like someone who loves pop culture and somebody who is a journalist, because you kind of know when your favorite artist is specifically Black women, like when they're starting to pull back. Like we see them, obviously, like Beyonce hasn't talked to us in like a decade at this point, or like, you know, Megan is becoming more selective with like doing interviews. She doesn't really get doing camera interviews anymore. Most of it is like editorial based, and like sometimes it's like, you know, very much having a boundary up. And just seeing like Black women being like, you know what, in order for me to kind of, you know, maintain my mental health and maintain my sanity, like I do have to pull back. Like they don't speak to their fans as much. They're not, you know, chronically online anymore. They're not interacting with people, just because, especially when it comes to like a TikTok or a Twitter, like it's very easy to like search your name and then you start, you know, first it's all fun and games and then you see like a couple bad things or people calling you out your name. I think that has really shifted the way, like a better boundary for them. I think, you know, they don't really want to engage anymore. They're not as active, especially like it's like a laundry list of women. Like that cycle happens a lot. Like 1 minute, like at first they're super engaged and super like upbeat and on Instagram Live and like really interactive. And then like when they become the focal point of misogynoir and like they're seeing like people are starting to turn on them and people are starting to project and give negative feedback, they're like, actually, I think this is too much. It's time to delete social media off my phone. It's time to give it to a social media manager. And just, they become like very guarded, which is very unfortunate because a lot of these girls who come into the industry, it's like we loved them because they were so like, you know, open and fun and super. It felt like you were like they were your friend, and then it just becomes like it's too much, and they like put up a wall, which is, I get it, because it's to protect their peace at the end of the day.
Yeah, and there is and then we're going to close out. There's a Black scholar named Kevin Kwashi, and he talks about this idea of interiority, like Black interiority, and that's basically like keeping some of your like most vulnerable and deepest parts to yourself, like, and not showing it to the world. And I think that when Megan Thee Stallion was shot by Tory Lanez, she really went inward. And that was very like jarring for people because they were used, like you said, to her being on live and being super engaged. But especially after watching In Her Words, her documentary, it was very clear that like she was like mentally unwell. And because of that, she had to retreat. So I think that that is like becoming a common thing amongst a lot of Black women who are celebrities. And I would be really interested to know, and you all can, you know, sound off in the comments if you found moments where you wanted to go like inward when typically you would be expected to be outward about it. Because I know I find myself sometimes like going inside because I'm like, I don't want to share this online because I don't know how people are going to respond to me. I don't want to experience misogynoir, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'm really interested if you all feel the same. So if you want to let them know where they can find you, that would be great. Yeah.
Yes, well, you guys can find me at Kenyatta Victoria on Instagram. I'm Kenyatta T Toria at on Twitter, and then if you guys want to subscribe to my Substack, Chronically Online, I have an Instagram page for Chronically Online KV, and then that's the name on Substack as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you all in the next episode.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yay.